So if you could speak directly to the person who could possibly save your life one day, what would you tell that person?
Thank you. Oh, you're about to make me cry. Thank you. Because I want to live.
Welcome back. Another day on Healthcare Stories with Healthcare Henry. Today we have a special guest, Auslin Williams, teacher extraordinaire, Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, and also suffering from end-stage renal failure. But we are here to talk to her about her journey. Thank you for coming, Miss Auslin.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm actually great.
You look good.
I can't
You
complain.
look good. How do you feel?
At this moment, I feel a little bit tired, but I'm okay. This is a lot. It's a lot on your body. And I still work. So I go to work every day. I'm still teaching every single day. So by the time I get home, I'm pretty wore out. But I feel good right now. Just because it's Friday.
It is Friday. What grades do you teach?
So I'm a media specialist. So I have all grades K to 5.
So what is a media specialist? What is that?
So a media specialist is, in our age, when we were in school, in our school days, it was called a librarian. Where we focused on literacy, reading books and that type of thing. Whereas now, as the world has changed, we are now media specialists, and we focus on robotics and engineering and STEAM and STEM, as opposed to having so much of a heavy focus on the literacy component. However, I sneak it in as much as I possibly can.
But what are your thoughts on that, though, right? Because we see, even for myself, I have a 3-year-old, and I can tell the curriculum is less about how well you can read, but how well you can build stuff. Like, what do you think about that?
So I'll be honest, when I first started, when we first went with the switch to media specialists, I wasn't too much of a fan. I will not lie to you.
Sure.
I don't understand how we expect our children to be successful if they can't read. And we know that if they don't like to read, they're just not going to. So my goal was always to make sure that they had a love for reading. It's not my job to teach you how to read, but to, encourage you to love reading, make it fun, make it interesting. When we went into the STEM and STEAM, I didn't know anything about that, and I really wasn't interested. So I was one of those that gave a lot of kickback.
What's your background in?
So I have a bachelor's in communications, TV, and theater.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be the director of all my children.
That is so specific. That is so specific. So
I wanted to direct all my children. That was my dream.
So be honest, full transparency, I've never seen All My Children. I have heard of it. I do not watch TV, but I have heard of it. But super interesting. So how do you end up as a librarian from that?
Because I had to pay bills. And
okay. No, you be honest,
Yeah, I had to pay bills. So I actually became a TV teacher in a local high school because they needed a substitute teacher. And so that was right up my alley, and I fell in love with it. So I went back to school and got my teacher certification, and I was able to teach TV production, teach, different things like that. And I loved it. As I got older, I was like, yeah, this is not fitting for me anymore. I don't really want to, not the teaching part, but I just didn't really want to do this anymore. So a position came open as an elementary school librarian. I took it, and it was amazing. The kids loved it. They would cry to leave my room because they loved it so much. And so that became a new passion. And I went back to school and got my certification to be a media specialist.
So this is so interesting to me. I am a devout Christian. You're religious?
Yes, sir. I love the Lord.
I know my DSD sisters. I know my sisters. I know. One of the things is I always never question, but I'm always like, man, things happen to the best people, right? It's here you are, a teacher trying to teach these kids who don't want to listen anymore, right? It's a whole generation of things, but you're impactful. You're going back. Can you give us a story of how you got here? What happened? How did you find out that you had renal failure? What does that look like? Because truthfully, you're 45. That's so young. And I don't think people realize that this happens to people. And we've been talking about this even for a while. We're seeing this now in 30 and 40-year-olds where I've been in hospice 10 years. I've never seen this in anyone under 60. It's literally 55 to 60. What can you tell us about like what happened? Was it hereditary? What did they say was your case?
So, no, it was not hereditary.
Okay.
I had diabetes for a long time,
Okay.
and I was drastically obese. I lost 200 pounds. And so, yeah. So I had diabetes. Long story short, the diabetes caused damage to the kidneys.
Yeah.
So I went
Mhm.
from having that, once I lost the weight, I didn't have diabetes anymore, but the damage was already done to the
Yeah.
kidneys. So
Yeah.
then I had chronic kidney disease.
Mhm.
That went on for years. They basically were trying to, tame it, trying to keep it stable as much as possible. In May of 2025, because I thought that I was still in that chronic kidney disease stage. In
Yeah.
May of 2025, I was doing my book fair at work. And I said, wait, something's not right. My face started tingling, my hands, everything was just tingling. And
Mhm.
so I called the school nurse. She did my vitals. She said, no, everything's normal. I said, okay, well, this is just wear off. Maybe I'm just tired. And so the nurse, thank God for her, she was like, no, I don't know about your face tingling. I'm not too comfortable with that. I'm going to send you to the emergency room. And so they locked the school down, and I was like, do not lock this school down. We can still continue on. They're like, no, we have to get you out of here. It's an emergency.
Mm.
Thank God she did, because when I got there, they were like, we'll just flush your system. Give us a couple hours. You'll be fine. They flushed my system, as they said. They put me in a room, like a waiting room to go back home. And then a doctor came in and said, so you're not going to go home today. You're going to stay with us. I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
And so the lady was like, you have to. She's like, if you were my family member, then, I would make you stay. I said, well, love, I'm glad I'm not your family member because I'm not staying here.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay.
extremely long story short, she told me, she's like, your kidneys don't work and you have to stay. You're not going to make it if you leave. So that just caught me very off guard. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I know that the numbers are very low, but what is this? And so she was like, yeah, no, we have to admit you now. And so everything happened super fast. They admitted me. It was on a Wednesday. Um, by Thursday, they prepped me to go in to give me, actually, gave me the port. And by Friday, I had my first dialysis. So it happened extremely fast. I was completely scared and terrified. I was
Yeah, for
45
sure.
minutes away from home and my
Yeah.
family, so yeah, that's where we are. And they did explain that the chronic kidney disease
Mhm.
had, gotten worse. I did not know that. And they said that what let them know was that my face was tingling and it should not have been tingling for as long as it was.
How long
And
was it
that's
tingling for?
about 30 minutes. Yeah, about 30 minutes. But I said, I can just go home. It'll wear off. I can drive home. I go to the hospital when I get home. She was like, absolutely not. We're
No.
not doing
Okay.
that.
That's
So,
interesting too.
yeah.
Definitely thank you to that nurse. I mean, technically,
Yeah.
that nurse probably could save your life. We're being completely
Yeah.
honest. It could, yeah. The other thing is, you said go home to your family. You have
Hmm.
kids?
I do not.
You have kids. You have you say your family though. Your mom, dad, husband.
My mom, my brother, my family, my best friend. I have a goddaughter who is my whole world. She's with me
Okay.
all day, every day. So
Okay.
I can go home, and at least be closer to home. I don't want my family to have to drive up to see me, my sorors. Everybody was 45 minutes away,
Yeah.
So I'm like, just make me stable so I can go home, But they
Yeah.
were like,
Definitely. Yeah.
absolutely, we're not doing that. No.
How long were you? Have you known that you were diabetic?
19 years. I found out, I want to say around 2006. Um, and that also was a drastic situation, for church. We were fasting. And so I was fasting all morning. And when I was working in preschool at the time, and I happened to look in the mirror and my face, like the whole side of my face was just dark. And that wasn't normal. So I called my pastor and was like, something's not right. She said, well, stop fasting, eat something, and then we need to call the doctor. When I went to the doctor, they ran the numbers and did the blood work, and that's how I found out.
So you were what, 26 years old, 27 years old, something like that?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
from that point on, can you give us an idea of what you were doing? Did you say you were overweight? You
Hmm.
lost 200 pounds, you were overweight.
Hmm.
At the time, what did you change? What did your diet? Was it working out? What'd you do?
So the doctors, we have tried everything. We did liquid diets. We did, change, no, don't eat carbs. We tried all this stuff. Now, I'm sure I can have done this with a greater level of fidelity, And also I was young, and that type of change, which I tell people all the time, one thing they don't talk about with diabetics is that change in your eating habits and the fact that you can't do stuff that you want to do. There's an
Yeah.
emotional component attached to that, right? There's an anger that comes along with that. And you got to battle that. You got to overcome that. So that is also hard, right? But we tried everything. We tried medicine, different medicines to lower the numbers, and it just was not working. So finally, my doctor said, well, let's try, we can do weight loss surgery. I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I can lose this weight. So he was like, oh, okay, well, we'll try something else. And we tried, and it just did nothing worked as fast as it needed to. So eventually he did convince me to have a gastric bypass.
Mhm.
And I had a full bypass. And when I got off the table, diabetes was gone.
Interesting. And so now from you're 26, 27, how long or what age did you go and get the surgery?
It was 2014. So how old was I then?
About 8 years later. No, it's about 34 years old.
Yeah, about
Oh,
that.
my math is like, okay, right? So
I
it's like,
love it.
okay. About
I read
34.
books. I'm not a mathematician.
And I don't read enough, right? I just count all day. So there you go. I'm wondering too, right? So it's like you're going through this journey and you're overnight figuring out you're diabetic and then you're forced, you had to lose weight. How did your actual life change, right? Like how did you accept or embrace being diabetic? One of the things that I've noticed, particularly with people who are diabetic, is the emotional change that people don't talk. They always talk about the physical stuff, right?
Mhm.
But they don't talk about your emotional connection. You said you
No.
were angry, right?
Mhm.
Can you really talk and tell people what that's like to be told today, no sugar, whatever it might have been, right? No, you can't
Mhm.
do that anymore. What is that like?
It's hard. It's like torture, especially when
I
you are
believe
at a stage where it's drastic. They're like, we got to do this now, right?
overnight. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of a lot of frustration. I think that's the best word for it. It's a lot of frustration that comes along with stuff, and then you have cravings because your body craves certain things.
You're
You know,
used
you
to it.
can't have it. You're used to it. At the time, I was a drastic Pepsi drinker. I loved Pepsi. And that was probably the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But I had to have it. And so taking that away, my attitude kicked in quickly. Like, I need a Pepsi, go get it. We need it now, type of thing. So that part, that anger part, um, getting over the fact that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I'm very much a control freak. I want things how I want them. And so to tell me you cannot do that, that was a struggle for me. And I had to learn to deal with that. It took me some years to realize that was the base of what I was feeling, but I had to get over it. I had to figure that part out. Um, Even the fact that physically my body couldn't do what I wanted it to do. I was tired. But I kept pushing myself and I may have aggravated it even the more. I worked all day, every day. I just go, 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 go. I would sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. That was it. Get up, keep running, keep going, doing activities, going to sorority stuff, going to church, just going and nonstop until my body just was like, enough.
Enough is enough. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's funny because they used to tell me you'll either sit down or your body will force you to sit down.
Hmm.
Way or the other, right? Because
That is so true.
yeah, it's okay. You can attest to that. And
Hmm.
so now, are you on the transplant list or what is it? What are we doing now?
I am.
Okay,
Thank God.
congratulations. There
Thank
used to be a
you.
kidney bank. Do they still have that?
I don't know. I know they call it the National Kidney Registry, I think it's called.
Okay, there used to be this
Yeah.
thing. My dad needed a kidney for like 30 years, and so there was this thing called the kidney bank. And so whatever anybody could put one in there into the
Mhm.
bank, and if there was one for him, he can get one out of the bank. So it's like a community effort to help people who need a kidney. I don't know if it still exists or not. This was 15 years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe even
So I
more.
think there's something similar to
Okay.
that. So what it is, they have the National Kidney Registry.
Okay.
Um, and so there's different ways to get a donor now. Like back in the days, you have this list. You had to be at the top of the list and you climbed up the list, things like that. So now there's different things, I guess kind of like a point system, different things that will make it easier or make you more of a better recipient for a
Mhm.
kidney. But also with the registry, you have like, for example, I can have people register to be a donor for me, a living donor, because now you don't have to just wait for a deceased donor. So someone living can give you a kidney. So for example, let's say you were like, Auslin, I want to give you my kidney. I'm like, okay, fine. You register. They give you all the tests, and it comes back that you're not a match for me. So you can't physically give me your kidney, but if you're willing to give someone else your kidney who is in just as much need, it's called a cross donor. So you would give your kidney to someone else, and then they would go automatically go into the national registry and find a kidney that's a match for me and give me that kidney.
I think that's the same thing that he
So it's
was
the
trying
same
to
type
do.
of idea, yeah.
Yeah, he was just much older. I think he was maybe 75 years old. So
Mhm,
that really became the problem for him. They thought he was too old to get through the surgery, or too weak, if you will.
mhm.
So that's super interesting. So now you're day to day.
Okay.
Dialysis 3, 4 times a week. What are we talking?
So I have dialysis 3 times a week. I
How
am
long?
on the machine for 3.5 hours.
Okay. And
So
then you go
basically,
back to work.
well, no, I go at night. So I'll get up in the morning. I'm up at 5:30 every morning, and I'll go to work. I drive 1 hour and 20 minutes to work. I yeah, I drive 1 hour and 20 minutes to work every day. I work, I get off at 3:30, and then I drive back home. By the time I get home, it's time for dialysis. So a lot of times I'll change at work, or I'll, come home, change my clothes, and then go straight to treatment. And then the treatment will last for 3.5 hours. So on a treatment day, I will get off the machine between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, depending on how early I get there.
Can you tell people one of the things that when we deal with patients who are on dialysis,
Hmm.
a lot of people don't, of course, it's the dialysis day, right?
Hmm.
And you tell people what it's like the day after.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I go at night. It is different in the morning for me. It's different in the morning. But at night, because I've worked all day long, my body's already tired. It's already exhausted. So that machine, you have to understand that it's taking your blood out of your body, it's filtering it, cleaning it, and putting it back in,
Hmm.
right? And so that is strenuous on your body. So by the time you come home, you're ready to go to sleep.
Yep.
By the time I get home, it's about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I have to lay down and just go to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I'm real groggy. I'm moving slow. My hands are jittery, so I'm dropping stuff.
Yep. Yeah. No.
uh, I'm
Hmm.
dropping stuff. But by about 6:30, quarter to 7, I'm back to feeling myself, but I'm still moving slow. So like I'll walk slow through the hallway. By about 10 o'clock, I feel back to normal.
And this is you at 45. And
Yeah.
I know people that do this at 75.
Yeah.
There's no way that they're able to get through the next day,
No,
right?
it's rough.
It's rough. And then also you have to drive, you say an hour and 20 minutes to and from
Mhm,
work.
mhm.
Do you ever, because you're groggy in the morning, so if you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what are your Tuesday, Thursdays routes to work like? Because you're leaving at God knows how early just to get to work to help these kids. Like, no, seriously,
Yeah.
what is that like? Are you alert when you drive? What does that look like?
Yeah, I'm alert, but so honestly, in May when I got sick, I did not go back to work until September. So what I did during the summer, I played around with the timing. Like I knew what time I normally got up. So what I realized was I need that time to get myself together. So I get up a little bit earlier to prepare for that. Driving, I'm fine because I'm sitting down. I'm not exerting a lot of energy.
Hmm.
Where you get the tired is because you're exerting energy by walking. Sometimes me just standing there talking, it's hard to catch my breath at times. Um, but walking is hard. Walking up and down the stairs. I have a lot of stairs in my house, and there's times where I can't even go up the stairs. I have to just sit on the couch downstairs because it takes a lot of energy, especially after treatment. It takes a lot of energy to get up those stairs. If I don't get up those stairs prior to those 30 minutes that I told you about earlier, I'm gonna stay on the couch.
Interesting. Interesting. And I don't know if people really realize the after effects of dialysis. And then for you to still, it really says a lot, right? Because your job and you got to entertain kids all day.
And I have
Like,
littles.
kids are no joke, man. I mean, I got
Yeah.
one is no joke. I can only imagine a classroom of 20 back to back to back to back to back.
Mhm.
That's really intense. Does your school know what you're going through? I mean, I'm sure they do now, right? But did they know at first?
Well, they will now. No.
Yeah. Oh,
No, they know. They
yeah,
know, and so they have been so supportive. I mean,
yeah.
I cannot have asked for a better situation. I'm very grateful for them because they're very supportive. My principal is very understanding. My administration is wonderful, And so the interesting part was when I got the phone call that I was on the list, I was at work in the middle of a class. And so I had to answer it, and my principal happened to be walking in the door, and I told him what was going on. He said, "Okay, no problem. I'll cover your class, handle your business." And so what I ended up doing, after I finished crying and wiping my tears,
Sure, sure, sure.
I let the kids be a part of it because they did not know. And at one point, I'm not embarrassed by far,
Yeah,
but I didn't want to scare them because I have little kids, right? So my port is here. So sometimes they could see the patch. They're like, well, what's wrong? You have a boo boo. What's that? So I had to explain, in as sensitive of a nature as I could. But what I let them do, I let them be a part of it. So I let them pick the ringer for when I get the call, right? So my doctors, I had different classes. So each class picked a ringer, a ringtone from my doctor. So if my kidney doctor calls, it has a special ringtone that my fourth grade class picked. If if the treatment facility calls, it's a different ringtone that the kindergartners picked. So I let them be a part of it. And I explained like, hey guys, you got to move back. You can't hug Miss Williams today, right? Because they want to know, Miss Williams, why do you have a mask on? So they ask, and I don't want them to be alarmed, but they're right. They don't understand why am I, keeping the mask on no matter where I'm at. Why the little kids they want to hug because they're littles, right? So they cough with their mouth open. They sneeze with their mouth open, so they know, hey guys, let's help keep Miss Williams safe, right? You got to cover your mouth, or you have to move over there, or you guys got to stand back. You can't stand that close to Miss Williams. And so they understand, we want to help keep you safe, right? Right, guys. So I had to explain because otherwise it's not, I don't feel, I want to make sure they feel like they're in a safe, loving environment when they're in my library, you know? Um, but I have to protect myself. I don't want to seem standoffish. So if I'm not standing near them, I want them to understand why.
One of the things that is interesting, and I know people might end up asking, like, why are you wearing the mask? Do you feel comfortable explaining what it's like if you were to get sick, get a cold, catch the flu? Like, have you been sick since you've been on dialysis?
Sure. So very recently, I got sick December 8th.
Do you remember
Um,
the date?
yep, because I was doing my book fair.
Yeah. Okay.
These
Okay.
book fairs, I tell you.
Okay. Okay.
I was doing my book fair, and a little boy was standing next to my desk paying for his books, and he sneezed on me. And I did not have my mask on, I'll be honest, because I wasn't near them like that. And he just came up, and it happens. It is what it is. He sneezed on me. That was December 8th. I'm still sick now.
Yeah.
And you can probably hear me sniffling a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I mean,
um,
I'm telling you, my dad was on dialysis for 30 years, so it's like that's one of the things I don't think people really understand.
yeah, it's rough. If I get sick, even with diabetics, right? Diabetics, if, for example, if a diabetic cuts their hand like a paper cut, someone else may heal that cut will heal in 2 or 3 days. A
Yep.
diabetic, it may take 2 or 3 weeks for that
Hmm.
cut to completely heal.
Hmm.
So that on top of this, I can't afford to get sick. So yeah, I was sick and I got to sick on December 8th, excuse me, and I'm literally at the end of it now. Like all I have is a slight sniffle here and there.
So you had a cold for 3 months, essentially.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
And it's
That's
hard because you can take, medications to ease the symptoms and things like that, but with a dialysis patient, you on the machine, what's happening? It's coming
mm,
right out. So
that's the
that's
kids.
the rough part.
The kids that are going to, and I know this is separate, but I'm interested.
Mhm,
The kids that go to your book fair, how
mhm.
does that work? They get to buy books, or what does that look like? How many
So
kids is it?
the whole school.
So how many
So
kids in the school?
we have 500 kids in our school.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm,
So everybody can come buy a book, and then are they
mhm.
required to read the book, or what is that? How does that work?
Well, I hope that they read it. I hope they're not wasting their parents' money. But they get whatever book that they like. Of course, they get all the scholastic toys and stuff, but
Yeah.
I do require them to buy a book. Those kids that don't have money for books, I have staff members who donate money and say, here, give this to a child who doesn't have money. We
How many
buy
kids
them.
do you have that don't have money?
That's a lot.
Really? Like,
Out of 500 kids, there's been at least 100 kids will say, "Hey, we don't have money," and it's probably way more than that. Um, but when
how
they
much is
come,
a
they don't
book?
have. So books are regular price, like same price as if you go to Barnes and Noble. So like the hardcover books might be 18, $19.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah. So we do have a big selection of they call them hot deals, which are books
Mhm.
that are between $3 and $5.
Mhm.
Um, So what some staff members will do is say, here's $20 for whoever doesn't have money. So the kids won't know, if they come with a book in their hand and no money, it's like, no problem, Miss Williams will get it for you. And then so we have a
Mm.
stash of money on the side for kids that don't have, and some parents just say, yeah, no, that's not something that we can do right now. And that's okay. I don't want them to feel bad they can't get a book. Um, we have scholastic dollars where we, earn points so we can use that as a way to help the kids who can't afford to get them.
I like this idea. And because I'm writing a book, I think it's good that we should like donate some money so the kids who don't have money.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
My
yeah, I
Lord
can do
Sterling
that.
babies will be so excited.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, I
you.
could do that. I could do that. So yeah, we'll
Thank
get
you
with
so
you about
much.
that too. Yeah, we can do that. That's
Okay.
interesting because I'm like super. I went to a private school in Chicago for grammar school, elementary school.
Okay.
And when I left there for the first time, I went to a public high school. And that was the first time I ever saw, because I had never seen a discrepancy in income. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. And I was like, oh my God, this is something that I never really was around. But now I'm like conscious of it and I really appreciate that experience. I got to experience both sides of, and Chicago is very different than most cities, right? It's very different. What that was like, private school to crazy high school, it was insane. But no, I understand that. And I remember seeing kids like they couldn't even afford lunch, right? It would be like 65 cents for stuff. So yeah, we'll be able to make a donation so they can get
Thank
some books.
you.
I would love that. Yeah, I would
Thank
love that.
you.
I would love that. So how has your story, how has it impacted your community, your school, the kids' parents, anything? Like, what does that look like?
Okay. So, when when I got sick, I was in a different building. That I was there for years. We built family there. Because I got sick, I had to move to a building that could better service my needs being sick. So this is my first year there with these students and with these families. The previous school, I have to do FaceTimes with teachers like, hey, let me say hi to the kids, send emails like, hey guys, just thinking about you because again, I'm not in that building anymore. But there are still staff members from the other building that say, hey, I'm praying for you or just checking on you. Do you need anything? So they've been delightful. Even in the building that I'm in now, they've been wonderful. I have a colleague who has shared her personal story with organ donation in her family, and she comes to me, "Hey, how do you feel today?" Or "Hey, do you need anything today?" So they've been absolutely great. Like I said, I could not have asked for a better staff to work with during this time. My family has been insanely supportive.
Yeah.
Um, Insanely supportive. I cannot thank them enough. They are right by my side. I get on the machine. I call my mom. Hey, I'm hooked on. I get off the machine. Hey, I'm hooked on because nobody can be in that on the floor with you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They can only be in the waiting room. And so I talk to my family every time. My best friend, he drives me to and from. He's like, nope, you're not going to drive yourself. I'll pick you up.
All week, 3 times a week.
3 times a week, right there with me. So that support is needed. Because I'll be honest, we pull up to the facility, and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And then going in there, it's like walking the long mile. Like you're going in by yourself.
Yeah.
You're alone. And then even like in the facility, you build a camaraderie with the people that are there. You build a family because you have your set time. Everybody goes the same time. I am Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we all the last shift. We're a family. We all go. Always are together. So, but you're all in there doing the same thing, trying to keep your spirits up um with what you're dealing with, right? So even just having someone there to be that support has been a true blessing because I'm gonna be honest, some days just like ugh,
Yeah.
you know but again, like my nieces and nephews, my siblings, they just been wonderful. I really can't complain. My brother texts me all the time, hey, keep your head up, hey, don't forget this. My sorority sisters, they're like praying for you, or they'll send me a funny meme or something to make me laugh or something like that. So everybody has been very, very hands-on with me. I don't feel like I have to do this by myself. The one thing that I realized over the past couple weeks, I will be honest, is I have to be more honest about, hey, this is where I'm at today. This is how I feel today.
I don't feel like talking,
I
whatever.
don't-
Whatever, yeah. We talk
Mhm.
about that a lot, like with people just being honest and transparent, and people have to give you grace because they'll never know what this feels like.
Yeah.
Like never. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I saw my dad. When you say you go and you're every time you go, you feel like,
Mhm.
I don't want to do this. Is that
Mhm.
every time you go?
It's many times. I
Many
won't say
so
every, but it is
at
many
least
times.
once a week, yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, man, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But for where you are, if you don't go, you come off dialysis, they say you will not
I'm not gonna
continue on.
live. Mhm. Yeah. And I wanna live, right? Like, I have
Yeah.
so many things that I wanna do. Like I said, I have my goddaughter who I love infinitely. I have my nieces and my nephews, I have my family, even like my sorority, we have events, like I'm in charge of our Jabberwock, which is our kids' cotillion. Like, I have to live for these people, for these things, right? I have to live for my kids at work. They come into my library and they're so excited, they're full of life and joy and they deserve, happiness, right? So I don't want this to be the end. Like I want to live, so this is something that I have to do. And I remind myself that like, okay, well, you got a choice. Either you
Yeah.
do this and live and carry out your dreams
Yeah.
and, see what the Lord has for you, or you don't and you don't.
No,
you
I
know?
mean, and it's interesting, like even when you laugh about it, right? It's like for you to have that smile and that personality towards it, it's like to me, and again, we're on the hospice side. I
Mhm.
can tell you, like you have the will and the grit to keep going. And I think that's one of the biggest factors. Like that is a difference, in my opinion, for a lot of people in being able to live for a long time.
Mhm.
How can I know that you are supporting the Hackensack Meridian Health Foundation?
Yes.
Explain that to us. What does it do? Why is it important to you?
Okay. So Hackensack is where I will be getting my transplant. They're my transplant group. So they are the ones who will be screening any potential donors. They are the ones who do all my testing for the kidney transplant, and it is a lot. It's
No, it
a
is. It is.
lot.
It is. It is.
It is a lot of testing. So they are the team that handles anything and all things transplant for me, for Auslin. There are multiple transplant teams in New Jersey that you can go to. You do have to get on each list separately, I'm told. Um,
Mm,
so, and again, that getting on that list requires you to go through all the tests.
yeah.
Um, and some facilities may not accept tests from other facilities. So again, it is a process. So what I did was I used my summer to get every single test that I could get it done, which is how I got on the list so fast.
Got you. Got you. And then do they give you like a anticipated time, right? Like, so hey, we think that we can find you something in a year. How does that work?
No,
It's just whenever
no.
something comes through.
hmm And they
And
do push
given
you to find a living donor, of course, because then that's not a time frame. It's just a matter of whenever you're ready. Um, but yeah, no, they don't give me a time frame.
so literally if anyone wanted to give a kidney and they were to give a kidney to this bank, you would then get a kidney.
Yes, if they register for me.
Oh, they have to literally say, I'm doing this for Auslin.
hmm
And you would got you, got you.
hmm
And they okay. So that is how the greater community could help if for you or whoever needs a kidney, they go in and say, this is for this person. And then
hmm
it was like an exchange.
Yes.
That's actually a
Yeah.
phenomenal program because you can
Yeah.
find a bunch of people who want to help but don't have the same. It's not a match, right? And so
hmm
therefore you could still find a way to do it. You
Yeah.
mentioned you mentioned Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Right?
uh-huh.
Coleman love, right? It's just
That's right. Forever and always.
I want to know, right, with your line sisters, your sorority sisters, and for those who are going to listen to this, how has being in the sorority helped you?
Wow. Overall in life or just with this situation?
Both, if you like.
Okay. One thing I will say, being a member of Delta Sigma Theta has been epic for me. Pledging made me a better woman. It made me a better Christian.
Oh, you
It
believe in
made
God now? Oh
I
yeah.
do. I do.
Yeah.
It made me a better Christian by far, by
Oh yeah.
far.
Mhm.
But this sense of sisterhood and belonging that comes
Yeah.
along with being a part of this organization is just out of this world. They have been again right by my side. We're a smaller chapter because I live in a smaller area, but
Sure.
they are right on it. They call, text, email, they do everything. Hey, mom, my mom is in my same chapter. So they're like, hey, Bert, what does Oz
Oh,
need? Yeah, my mom
okay,
pledged
okay.
me.
Really?
Yeah. hmm
Interesting. Okay.
which is pretty awesome to say,
It
right?
is. It is. It really is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been amazing. Like when this happened, they have offered different facilities that they have access to. For example, when I get my kidney transplant, I have to stay at Hackensack, which is about an hour from my home, a little more than an hour, and then I have to go back and forth once they release me so many times a week, a month, until it kind of dwindles down. And sorrows have already said, "Hey, you can stay at my house. I live 10 minutes from there." Or, "Hey, my
Yeah.
cousin lives around the corner and you can stay there." Or, "Hey, we'll come and make food. Just let us know what you can and cannot eat." Even reaching out to my mom saying, "Hey, what do you need? How can we
Mhm.
help?" Because this was hard for
Mhm.
her. I'm her baby
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so how can we help? So they have been amazing.
Mhm.
They really have been amazing. I cannot complain, but I love my sorority. Especially with all,
I
it's a
see.
lot of talk about D9s and all that. I love my sorority. Watching us making such an impact in the
Yeah.
community. You have organizations who may have been around for years, but are not doing as much as they could possibly do. But I'm in a chapter who we love our community and we
Yeah.
focus on enhancing our community. We focus on making sure that we are making Delta look how we're supposed to look, right? Representing correctly.
I love
Um,
that. I love that. Safe to
yeah,
say
I
you won't be
love it.
denouncing anytime soon.
Oh no. Oh no. That won't be happening over here. I won't
That's
be
like the
denouncing a
talk now. It's
thing.
like this
Yeah,
is
no.
not a Christian organization. I'm like, bruh, like, come on, bro.
We are
Like,
founded on Christian beliefs.
come
Like,
on. It's like,
I
give
will
me a
not
break.
be denouncing
Okay.
anything.
Okay,
I
I
will
got you.
not.
I got you. And I really love that. I think too, like people have this idea of what D9 organizations are, but at their
Mhm.
core, we really do put people together who want to give back to the
Mhm.
community. And when you
Mhm.
do that as an individual, that's fantastic. But I look at if I've got one woman out feeding the homeless, or if I've got 100 women in red shirts feeding the homeless, that's a
Mhm.
bigger impact than the one. Not saying the
Absolutely.
one person's bad. It's not fantastic, but it doesn't have the same impact. People don't feel
Right.
that same love. And how many people can we touch together as a unit versus just one
Right.
person? So I get it. The pledging thing, I have my own ideas about it, but it's fine. Yeah, I love, but I do love it. And I think you need that to become a better person.
Mhm.
Everything going on today right now,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
definitely needed. When I look at and I hear about the Be the Difference campaign,
Mhm.
what does that mean to you?
The Be the Difference campaign explain to me.
Be the Difference campaign from the Hackensack Meridian Health Foundation. They've raised over $600 million to date, specifically for people who want to have kidney transplants.
Oh yes, let me make a note and look this up
Yeah,
immediately.
super exciting. Yeah. One of the things that I want to know from you specifically, if someone was thinking of becoming a donor, what is something that you would want them to know? Why should they strongly consider doing this from your perspective?
So I'm going to answer it from my perspective regarding me because I want to live. I want to live. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't want this to be the end of me. This is not the end of my story. There's so many more things that I want to do. I want my impact to be greater, right? I want to see my god kids and my nieces and nephews. I want to see them prosper. I want to see them grow older. I want to accomplish my dreams. I write plays and movies and TV scripts. Like that's my thing, right? That is my passion as a writer. So I want to win awards for things that I have written. I haven't done that. So there's still so much more work for me to do. I don't want to succumb to this. Um, so I need your help. I need the help of someone that is willing to help me continue on with my life. I want to be great. I want to do all that I was created to do. And honestly, I don't feel like I have done that yet. I just feel like there's so much more for me to give. I believe that I was created with such a big heart, right? Like I am a
Yeah,
lover,
I
right?
can
Like
feel it. Yeah.
everything about me is all about love. And there's so much love for me to give. And I want to give it to those who are deserving of it and those who need it. There's so many more kids that are going to come in to my space, who need a safe space, who need love, who need to be able to be exposed to opportunities and people and networks that will help them reach their goals, right? Like I like to write. So how could I help a kid who likes to write? Or how can I help a kid who writes poems? I can show them like, hey, you write poems, but look at where this can take you. These are some options. Hey, I have a friend who wrote a book. The book is published. Let me connect you with them, right? So
Yeah.
there's so much more for me to do than to just sit on a machine for 3.5 hours a day, 3 times a week for the rest of my life. Like, that's just not what I want to do. I want to live. Like I said, I want to accomplish my goals. And
Did
I want
they?
to go to Greece. I haven't gone to Greece yet, and I want to go to Greece.
What part of Greece do you want to go to?
Anywhere.
Okay. They have
Anywhere.
beautiful architecture. I've never been, but I do look at them on Instagram. They have beautiful architecture.
Yeah, I see all the pictures,
Yeah,
So I want to
yeah.
go to the place where everybody travels, but I want to go to the places where people also have not traveled and see what the
Okay.
commoners see.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
I want to travel. Right now, I can't go out of the country because of dialysis. So
I did never thought about that. So that makes
yeah,
sense. You actually can't leave. You physically
no,
can't leave.
no.
So you can't actually take trips anywhere unless you go from, I'm gonna say, Saturday to Tuesday.
So you can, but you have to prepare differently, right? So, for example, I can go, but I would have to do dialysis, wherever I am at.
So they would find you a place to go to, or is that's on you? Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
you
for
could
example,
travel. It's just
yeah, you can travel, but you cannot travel out the country because here in the United States, our insurance does not cover dialysis out of the country.
so they
So
would
if
have
I
you have to pay out
go,
of
I would have
pocket.
to pay out of pocket, and dialysis is, I was told, $4,000 per session. Now I don't know how true that is. But that's what I was told at the facility.
So $4,000 a session, and this is just. I thought it was like 500 a session.
No.
4,000. So every week, someone is paying $12,000 to go to get dialysis, and you need it to stay alive. So you actually have to do it.
You have to go. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then
So
that's crazy.
yeah. So
That's crazy. I get and it's interesting because we were just talking and I was getting on. I'm like, man, they're really doing a lot for like this Medicare fraud and all that stuff. This just seems like a lot. But when you tell me that they can charge $4,000 a session and you have to go or you will actually pass away. No, we do have a goddamn problem here in America.
Now,
because
again, I can't give you the factual,
I thought it was like 500. I thought 500 was high.
500
No, I did. I thought,
too.
yeah, that's insane. So now I look at, because normally when you have kidney failure, you can get on that Medicare list, right? That's one of the things that can get you on the list faster is kidney failure.
Automatically.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm wondering, God, that's where they should be focused. Like, instead of focusing on the people having issues, like, why don't we go to the people who are charging Medicare $4,000 for something people have to have to survive? That's tough.
Yeah. And again, this is what I was told. I didn't do any research on it. But once I got those numbers, I said, well, that idea is out the way. So we're not going to talk about that. But you can travel, within the country. You just have to find a facility that is in that area. I have traveled. I did go to Tennessee last summer. I'm going to go again this summer for a conference for a Freedom School. Yeah. I'm the site director for a Freedom School and in the summer. So I have to go to a week-long conference. And I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning and go to dialysis and come back to my hotel and go to sleep for about 90 minutes and get up and go to my sessions.
How do you maintain hope, right? Like, given what you got to do, how do you do that?
I trust God. That's all I have to do. I believe his word. I believe what his word says, right? So I have to stand firm on that. If I'm honest, if I did it, my mind would be all over the place. I would be a wreck. But because I trust God so much, because I believe in his word, because I know what he said. He said, by his stripes, we are healed, right? So at the end of the day, God's going to do what he wants to do regardless. No matter the fact that I don't like having to do this, he allowed it. So because he allowed it, I have to be okay. I'm not going to fight God. Like, are you kidding me? So I trust God. I put all of my worries, all of my fears, all of my frustrations, my anxieties, I give it to him and say, okay, God, you got to handle this. You got to do this because I am tapped out. I don't know what else to do. You allowed this. So let your will be done. Even if his will is that I don't get a kidney, I have to be okay with that. Do I want that to be his will? Absolutely not. But I just trust that for whatever reason, there's a purpose in this and he'll reveal to me what the purpose is. And we'll go from there. But I just trust him to take care of me.
You're so upbeat. You're so down to earth. You're also one of those people that it goes back to, it's like, man, some of the craziest stuff happens to the most genuine, good, kind, nice people. Like, I mean, I know some assholes, man. Like, they could, I don't want to say it, but come on, like the best people, right? And it's like really one
Mhm.
of those things for me. And I don't question God, like I said, but I do sometimes. I'm like, man, how does this happen, right? How did we get
Mhm.
here? So
But I can tell you this. I will share this one story with you if you don't mind.
I want to
I
hear it.
went I went in on a Wednesday, which I told you, and I was a wreck. I mean, I was crying and I was carrying on, to find out all of this. And by Thursday, when they put the port in, I was so afraid. I didn't know what was happening. And to the point the lady looked at me, she was like, "Are you nervous?" I say, she's like, "Honey, calm
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
It's okay." But so Wednesday and Thursday, I was a hot mess crying and all the stuff. But by Friday, I was laying in the hospital bed and the Lord said to me, "Do you trust me? Like, you have to trust me, right? Like, you preach God's word to the people. I go to people and tell them how amazing God is and that God healed me. He'll heal you. And, God is a healer and speaking all this greatness and marvelous things that God has done, right? I'm telling the people this, right? And God said, don't stand on another platform and say another thing if you don't believe what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that got me together immediately. It was just
Immediately.
like,
Yeah. Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not another tear shed about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I don't want to deal with this, but at the end of the day, I know who God is and I know that He can. Even if He doesn't, He still can, right? He can change this whole thing around for me. And so when He got me together like that, it just gave me a whole different mindset. Like, Oslin, you can tell people you love God and you're a Christian and you believe Him and you're saved and all these wonderful things. But if you don't believe the words coming out of your mouth, shut your mouth.
Yeah. A year from now, right?
Hmm.
And you get your transplant.
Oh, yeah.
What are you most looking forward to? What's the first thing you want to do? What do you want to eat? Where do you? I know you want to go to Greece. So you gotta tell me that.
Yeah,
What
I wanna go to Greece.
want to go to
The
Greece?
first thing I wanna do, I wanna go swimming. I wanna get in the pool and
Can
go
you not
swim.
go swimming?
No.
Explain to us why.
So you can't so my port is here, it's in my chest. It
Gotcha.
go which means it's open. There's a hole literally right here that's open.
All the time.
Um, so if you have a fistula, which is in the arm, it's closed. So because mine is open, I can't because there may something in the water can infect the site. So you can't have water directly hitting it. You can't be submerged in water, anything like that. So you cannot go swimming with your dialysis port in your chest because this is open.
Gotcha. And I think too, like we talk about daily living things, just things like
Mhm.
people take for granted. Now I'm saying even just taking a bath,
Yeah,
right? Like all of
it's a
these
whole
things become
process.
it's a whole process. It's
Yeah.
a whole thing for you.
You
Yeah.
have to cover it up and you can't get it wet. I mean, you're not supposed to take a shower. You're supposed to sit in a bathtub, but you know, some people are hard headed.
But
But
they have these patches you can put over
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Do you
And they
have
work.
they work? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
they
I've seen
work.
people swimming with those patches, by the way.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. You definitely can wear those patches. What I did learn about them, and it's just kind of like hair products, right? You got to test them out till you get the right one, the right concoction. So I did test a few of them, and the ones that I love are great, but hot water does loosen the
It does.
adhesive.
Yep. It does. Yeah. But I mean
So
that's
it
normal.
will
Yeah.
lift, but which means water is going to go into where, and you don't want that. So you have to be very mindful. You don't want water running directly on it, and you get creative.
I got you. What type of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Wow. My greatest legacy that I want to leave behind, I want people to say that they knew I loved them. I want people to say when they interacted with me, you knew and you felt loved.
Mm-hmm.
That's the greatest thing I could give for people. Like I want them to feel loved, right? Um, I want my work, my written work, to be left to the world. I want the world to know what it is that I have to say. Um, I want them to hear what I have to say. I want to be one of the greatest playwrights ever.
You really love
um,
this. Yeah, I love
I
this. I love
do.
this. I
I
love this.
do.
What's the name of the TV show you want to direct? What's the name of it?
All my children.
Oh my children. I gotta go watch the episode now. It's like, okay, now I gotta write the episode and talk about it. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
All my children. But yeah, I want people to feel love no matter what.
Yeah.
I do. And I want them to know that you really can do anything. Even this situation has taught me, like, don't give up. I gave up on writing for a while because I just didn't want to, I didn't have anything to say. I was upset or annoyed or whatever have you, right? So I stopped writing. Um, but that's not cool, right? God gave me a talent. He gave me a gift. Not everybody can write a screenplay or not everybody can write a story where somebody will sit for 2.5 hours and just listen to what you have to say. Not everybody can do that, and I can. And so I want to give that back to the world. Like I want the world to hear what it is that God gave me. I don't want people to be afraid.
Hmm.
I don't. I lived my life in a box for a long time. I don't want people to
Yeah.
be afraid.
I am, for lack of a better word, I am inspired.
Yeah.
I'm being honest because it's so many times you go through your day, you think you're having like, this is bad. Oh my God, I hate this. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. You go to dialysis 12 hours a week.
Yeah.
You still go teach these kids. You drive 2 hours and 40 minutes, 5 days a week, back into to and fro work. And here you are with this pearly white smile. And it's like, no, I'm being very serious because these are the things that people need to understand. It's like, man, people really go through stuff.
Yeah.
And we as a community, we as people, we got to come together and help each other and give something for each other. And I would just love to find like if we could help you find a donor, just a
Mm.
like that would make me so happy.
I would
So
love that
happy.
too.
I would make me so happy. So if you could speak directly to the person who could possibly save your life one day,
Mhm.
you could tell them 3 things, 5 things, whatever you want it to be. What would you tell that person?
Thank you.
Mm.
Oh, you're about to make me cry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you. Because I want to live. And I want to do everything I was created to do. And your help is going to allow me to do that. Your help is going to allow me to give back to people the same way you gave back to me. Your gift of life is more than I could ever ask for. And even if you can't physically give me your kidney, you could help somebody else who is in the same dire need. There's a lot of us out here who are in the same dire need. So thank you for your help. Even just listening to my story, even, offering words of support. Thank you. Because I do not want to die. And I do not want to be on dialysis forever. I want to write a play that the world sees and says, wow, look at what she did.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna put it out. We're gonna rush it out. We're gonna rush it out. I don't tell them to rush things, but this one I'm serious. We're gonna rush it out. I'm going to get it to them today. We're gonna rush it out and we're gonna do our best. I'm gonna be praying for you.
Thank
When you said, what did people like learn from you? Or what do they feel when they're around you? Like I feel the love through the screen.
you.
You can feel it. You're so energetic. You're so upbeat. Even with everything going on, you're so positive. You're
Yeah.
so positive. I even see you doing public speaking. I really do. Like I really do. I can feel it because you have a story to tell. And when you tell people, like, no, I went to dialysis 3 days a week, 3 hours, but I still drove an hour and 10, 20 minutes to go help kids who literally I did this 5 days in a week and you still went to dialysis on Saturday.
Mhm.
So 6 days of your week are gone. And honestly, Sunday is probably a blur recovering from Saturday.
Well, I do go to church on Sunday. I can't not give the Lord his day,
You
but
got
you're
to,
right.
yeah. Yeah. No, I love
Yeah.
that. So we're going to get on it right away. And I'm praying for you. And I wish you the
Thank
best.
you.
And I can't thank you enough for coming on here, Auslin. You are truly, truly a blessing, a story to be told. And I'm looking forward to hearing you doing some public speaking too, by the way.
Okay, I'm gonna get on it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.